And we can start very, 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 very soon with our very, very special, unique guest. And now, my beautiful audience, you can just hear that story. So, welcome to the Diversity is the Game Changer. Welcome to the new, very, very inspiring episode. You have no idea. This is so special story, and I'm so honored, thrilled, privileged to witness that story from the very first source. And like I said, now in Norway it's minus 17, it's cold and dark, but I'm already lighting up with the energy of this beautiful person who never gives up. So welcome to the show, sir. Look at your beautiful smile, already so energetic and warm, exactly what we need at this modern time everywhere in the world. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Yes, in Southern California, it's much warmer here and it's early morning. So we are living two different lives right now.
Absolutely, and we're trying to emerge them to make impact. So my very, very special guest, Eric Goodman. Of course, Goodman, of course. I would even say, I don't know, brilliant man or best man or never give up man. So we should upgrade. We should really upgrade. So, and the title of episode today, My Disabilities Don't Define Me, They Motivate Me. I loved it so much. I'm citing you. And another thing, which your hidden gem, which I'm going to kidnap and steal, that's for sure. The more people we meet, the more we can help. So it's exactly what you and me are going to do just right now. And what's your mindset? This is your brilliant book. And actually, we are going to discuss a little bit about your mindset. I will be facilitated and like spices a little bit about your mindset and how diversity actually impact that. But now a little bit of intro, right? So in this powerful episode, Diversity of Game Changer, we sit down with Eric Goodman, as best-selling author, philanthropist, purpose-driven leader, whose life story is a living testament to resilience, mindset, and inclusive leadership. Eric, like I've said already, best-selling author, What's Your Mindset? Serves on the board of directors of multiple nonprofit organizations and lead Mountain View Services Incorporation, a company recognized as a Civic 50 honoree 4 years in a row, named among the top 50 most community-minded companies in Orange County. A lot of accolades, a lot of accomplishments, a lot of prizes. Family Business of the Year, Outstanding Business of the Year, Orange County Philanthropist of the Year. But behind the accolades is deeply human story, very, very special one. One shaped by childhood challenges, lived experience with uniqueness, like I would say, no disability, and mindset rooted in caring, honesty, and love. So please. And I love so much. As Eric Whitfield shares, I feel like Forrest Gump running down the driveway. The brace is falling off the moment set the course for the rest of my life. So, this episode will be really game changer. So welcome again to the show.
Thank you so much. You did your homework, and I'm amazed that my story has made it all the way across the world.
Absolutely, it's really was so touching. Yesterday, the day before, I was like, wow, I'm so privileged to be sent blessings and you guys, my little angels, who actually really impact my life so much by being a guest and to give me the most precious commodity. It's your time and presence and full focus. So I'm so honored again.
Thank
and
you.
Now, of course, we directly jump backwards a little bit, because everything what actually we are today, for me as well, is much rooted in our childhood, in especially your story is so much rooted in childhood and the part of our childhood DNA. It's so important for us, for our impact, how we lead, how we live, what we actually aspire in our grown-ups life. So please take us to this very special chapter of your life, very brave one, of this little boy Eric, who became this very, very impactful, really good man. Eric, can you tell us about your childhood and how that chapter impact all your life? Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And so is the movie Forrest Gump popular in Norway? Have you seen it?
Yes,
Yes?
all of
Absolutely, yes, because he
many,
goes
many
around.
times.
Okay, good. I didn't know because he goes around the world doing all those amazing things. So,
Exactly.
yes, as I quote in the book and I share personally, Forrest Gump, the movie, is much like my life. When I was born with a very rare spinal condition called Schumann's kyphosis. So
Mm-hmm.
it's similar to scoliosis, which most people have heard of, where their spine is curved. Scoliosis is a 45-degree curvature of the spine. Schumann's
Mm-hmm.
kyphosis can be a 90-degree curvature of the spine. So it's kind of like the hunchback. That's what it would eventually be like. So I wore leg braces to try to walk straight, and I wore a back brace like Forrest Gump did. And then when I was 15 and a half years old, we were at the hospital in Los Angeles, California, meeting with a specialist for children. And they were checking my back. And he said, "We're going to need to transport you. You're going to have emergency surgery on your back because the curvature was so severe that it was puncturing my left lung. So my lung was going to collapse. And that was obviously what I was going to die from, was the collapsed lung, not the back condition. So I had a 9-hour surgery where they fused my spine. So in your vertebrae in your back, you have the very large bone, your spine, and it has all those little triangles in it. They took bone from my ribs and they put that bone in my spine and they fused it together as one solid bone. So that way I wouldn't be curved. But then I had to be in a full body cast from the neck down for 9 months. So I went in the hospital in January. They put a cast on my body like you would have on your arm or your leg. Very heavy, very hot uh, cast from here down. And I was in that cast until August because the spine takes a very long time to heal. Now, today, I still have two metal rods in my back that they inserted to keep everything straight. That it's been 33 years, and I still have those. I have plastic rib inserts, and then I have the fused spine. So I was born, as we would say, physically disabled.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout my life, I had many other disabilities, mental disabilities and physical disabilities. And that's why I wrote the book, What's Your Mindset?
Mm-hmm.
Because my mindset could have been negative, and I could have taken all of these disabilities in my life and said, "Oh, poor me, I can't do anything. I'm disabled." But people see me today and they have no idea that I'm disabled because you can't see that from the exterior. And I don't let those disabilities define me. They motivate me to help other people. And so you mentioned our company, Mountain View Services. We service about 500 homes for developmentally disabled adults and children. We provide them with their food and their medical supplies. About 3,500 disabled patients we service. 30, 38 years in business. I've been with the company 30 years and been the owner the last 6. So my life's mission has been to help people with disabilities, whether physical or mental, because of what happened to me when I was a kid, and I wanted to use that to make something positive in the world.
Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful, deep, of course, diversified uh, story that, you know, I do speak 7 languages and I'm learning 8. And when I could hear it, not now, but for the first time, I was like, wow. And we still sometimes, when we have, especially in Norway, kids and teenagers, they do have a lot of different problems, what I would say problems. We can complain or something. It's always actually, you should put everything into relatively to other people, right? So I can't say I had like very flawless childhood. It was childhood trauma because my father, he was addicted to alcohol and he was very aggressive, abusive. And exactly like you are now one of definitely my role models and mentors, like you said brilliantly, we have always two choices: or to choose the path of victim and said, I am and I have become like this because of, and always try to really put it this trauma, or actually to turn it around, to use it adversity as your creative fuel. First of all, of course, to help yourself, to self-manage, right, and then to help people. So I'm so proud of you that despite all of that, you're not just brilliantly. That's for sure. You had so many struggles to find your own peace within yourself, because this is the most important, right? You were already like 15 years, right? You were teenagers years, and so many days and months in the, how you say, because the voice we are hearing every day, it's up to our mindset, right? And actually it's the person who we are talking mostly, it's our voice. How did you find yourself in this position mentally? Because physically it's one thing. I'm first of all, I'm very grateful to your parents, because I could hear yesterday story how brilliant, how supportive they were to you, how they supportive were to each other, because you shared that your father was like a lot of at work, but before working hours, after, and then mom and all this routine. First of all, I'm really deeply grateful to them that you have this very supportive family. It's so important, right? But besides your family, as a teenage boy, how you found your special, I don't know, routines, mentally routines, how you actually manage this special condition? Can you just give some advice? Because what if some of the audience actually going through some, not maybe this exactly, but something similar? Thank you.
Yes, nobody's ever asked me that question before, so this is great. I'll share new information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being in the leg braces at 3 years old, and then being in school with leg braces, and then being in a body cast when I was in elementary school, junior high, and high school. I got picked on by the kids. I couldn't do sports. I looked different. I was in special ed classes. I couldn't do PE. So I got picked on a lot, and it was very hard. I wasn't very outgoing. I was very kept to myself, and I'm sure I had depression and other things that I wasn't aware of at the time. And I was 15 and a half when I had the surgery, and then I was in that full body cast home for 9 months. So I missed my entire ninth grade year of school. I went out in eighth grade and went back in 10th grade. So we had a home teacher come in the house, and I had a long time to lay and think. 9 months is a long time in a body cast. And so after I got the body cast off, then I felt more normal because I looked more normal, and the kids in high school saw me differently. I still couldn't do some things because of my back surgery. I couldn't do PE, physical education classes or anything. Um, but it wasn't until many, many years, like 30 years later, I didn't share my story with anybody. I didn't talk about it. I didn't want anybody to know what happened to me. I wanted to be normal, I thought. And then in 2022, I hired a storytelling coach to help me share what our business does and how we help people in the community. And when he heard my story of my back surgery, he said, "Well, why don't you share that with people? It would motivate people to see what you've done and how you've done it." I didn't remember most of it. I think I had PTSD. I tried to block it out of my life because it was a
Mm-hmm.
very hard time. I remember I had to go to my mom and say, "What? I don't remember the leg braces. What were they?" And she showed me pictures. And I said, "What about the back brace? And how long was I in that?" I just didn't remember any of this. So she helped me remember my story. And I asked other family and friends, and they had told me. And now, if you see me today, I am extremely outgoing. I will get up and talk in front of thousands of people at speeches. I'm very flashy in my clothing because I like to be outgoing and noticed. I want people to know me when I walk in a room. I want them to say, "Oh, there's Eric. He has an amazing story." So today versus what I was as a child is very different. But I think it's because once I got comfortable with what happened to me, and I was able to embrace that and see that I could use it to help other people, and I saw the people reacting to my story, I started saying, okay, I need to, be outgoing and share things and do things that I wasn't comfortable with. And it's completely changed my life. I'm a completely different person than I was then.
Eric, now I'm totally in shock. Yesterday I was in shock. Today, even like, part number two, which is even more strong, because when I could hear you sharing your story, you even had this.
The brace.
Yeah, I believed you've been doing it the whole your life. Like
No.
totally, you started from, you okay, not jump out of your cask and started, but kind of. If I should put this story like for you, that you actually been thinking and proceeding in information, reflecting while you were like laying, and understood that wow, this should be really special, powerful story. So then you've done amazing, brilliantly job. And of course, it's a motivation, inspiration. It's also the right timing and to meet the right people who can really open this potential. But everything what we need actually already lays within us. We should just discover, uncover. But of course, it should be right circumstances, people, and the so much should be like put in the puzzle in this way. And you mentioned really like coaching, while I'm going to ask a couple of questions, because tomorrow it will be a show which is called Mentors Talk. And I'm invited as a mentor for executives as well to share my story. Like I've shared with you before we put recording, that I was exactly the same, encouraged by not of probably my mentor, or do believe in God, that God is sending his angels. It will be through the words, through the mouth of some people to share my story. And it's about mentorship and coaching. How do you believe about this concept? Because now it's very trendy, it's a little overkill. Everybody just use, oh, my coach, or I'm a coach, and mentorship little bit. Sometimes I feel like kind of a little bit. But what do you think, how it is important to have coach, to have mentorship, and how actually, if people have never had one, they should choose? What is important to make this choice?
Yes, another very good question. So when I wrote the book, What's Your Mindset, which is my memoir and life story, when I finished the book, I didn't even have a title. I completed the manuscript and had no title. And I read through it probably, 10 or 11 times doing the drafts and rewriting the book. And after I read it so many times, I thought, wow, you know what the overarching theme of the book is? And the one thing that I realized through my life so far in 50 years and what I've been through was it was my mindset that kept getting me in a place to be able to succeed and do these things, because I would be in the mindset of I couldn't, or somebody would tell me I couldn't because I was disabled and I wasn't smart enough and I had dyslexia and I had a heart condition, and the list goes on and on and on. They can't do this, can't do this. And I kept saying, I can, I can, I can, I can. And I kept doing these things. That's how the mindset came into play. And the mindset was through the mentors that I had had over the years, which I talk about in the book. I share multiple mentors. I think people have different mentors for different things. We have different lived experiences. I can mentor somebody about one thing, but I don't know something else. So they need a different mentor for that. And I think the lessons we go through in life are things that we learn to be able to share with other people to mentor. You can't mentor or coach somebody if you haven't been through it. If you don't have lived life experience, how do you share that with someone? And I agree with you. I see lots and lots of coaches on LinkedIn, or a lot of people that are executive coaches or business coaches, and their experiences being an executive coach, which is great because they have all those lessons, I guess, that they've seen or learned or read. But when you really live it and experience it, and like you said, I have very strong faith, and I believe God has put me in these places and positions, have put me through struggles, so that way I would learn something from them, like he did. Obviously, he struggled tremendously to learn the things he learned to share with us. I believe the same for me. And so I think everyone at any age needs a coach of some kind, needs a mentor, needs somebody to guide them. And I think you need multiple. I think you need different people for different things, and they come at different stages in your life. When I was younger, I needed a coach to help me with certain things. But when I'm older, some people, a CEO like myself of multiple companies in my 50s, sometimes they get complacent and they say, well, I know everything. I know all the answers. I have, you never, ever. I want to learn till the day I die. I read all the time. I meet people and say, can you share with me your story? Can you coach me? Can you tell me how you handled that when it happened? I'm always learning every single day, because it's the only way I'm going to continue to grow and to be a better person and be able to help other people, is if I'm willing to continue to be coached and mentored and learned. And I have probably 4 or 5 mentors right now that I'm working with. And I have probably 10 mentees that I'm mentoring currently. And it's funny that I'm the mentor, but yet I need mentors for myself. because you have to have that to be able to be successful in life.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story, because some people, like, they still have prejudice, especially say, like, why should I have like coach? I know, like you've mentioned, like I know everything. I have so much inspiring. I should have already mentees. But exactly, everything what's going on now, it's happened so many changes and so quickly all the time, especially due to new technologies and AI. And I even believe that sometimes we always can imagine that we have peers, they should have wisdom, and they should definitely be like older than us. They have so much living experience. It's like you said, it's so brilliantly idea to have many, because nowadays so much new domains actually influences our life. It's like 80%. The most powerful influencer now, it's actually through AI and all the social media. And unfortunately, I even understand that I need probably some really cool youngster who can be my mentee, AI mentee. Maybe he doesn't have that much that long life experience with all ups and downs, but I understand that to develop myself, to evolve, actually sometimes my brain capacity is not enough in this special domain, right? And we should understand, in every interaction we are both students and teachers. If we have beginner's mind for that, I think then it's brilliant. Thank you so much. Tomorrow when they will asking me, I can also use one of this information. And I know one of the question will be like, because you have 10 mentees, and it will be question, what is your best advice you always give to your mentees? Though I also believe particularly that you always should give different actually advices to different persons, to different situation, to different circumstances, but maybe some kind of core values which you always try to stand for and give, like, what, but this is like the most important. Or do you have any kind of this special advice, like to be authentic, or to follow your heart, to follow your faith? Or
Yeah, I think, and that's the book. The book, I have 4 pillars. So it's love, leadership, purpose, and faith. Those are my 4 pillars of the book. So I think you have to have those 4 sections covered. Obviously what got me through my surgery and got me to where I'm at today is my faith. My leading authentically and leading by example, I think, is how I'm impacting the community and what I've used for. And then love, you have to have love in your heart. You have to be authentic when you're doing stuff. And then you have to have purpose. Without purpose, you have nothing, because some of people have jobs or they have lives, but they have no purpose. And then they'll come to me and say, well, I'm unhappy. And I see all these other people who are happy. And why can't I be happy like that? And I say, well, what are you doing it for? Do you have a purpose? Do you have a reason? Especially like if I sit on 8 nonprofit boards, and I support a lot of nonprofits. And everybody asks me all the time, they say, how can you run your businesses and do everything you do and write a book and then serve on all these nonprofit boards? And I said, well, that's my purpose. That's what fills my cup. That's what gives me my superpower, is when I help people, and then it gives me energy. I'm energized to go do more. So I always share with my mentees, or anybody I meet, I say, if they can get those 4 pillars covered and they can find those things in their life, I think, each one of those will help something. And I don't care, maybe your faith isn't the same faith as mine. That's fine. I just want you to have some sort of faith, so you have moral values and a compass that you follow, because you need that to start. You have to be a good human being and a person, and that'll be in your heart and soul. And then after that, that's when you find your leadership skills. We were all born with special talents, every single one of us. You have things you were born with that you can do that I cannot. And I have things that I was born with that I can do that you cannot. But when we come together and we share those talents and we help each other, or as I always say with my inner circle and the people that's really close in my life, we lift each other up. And it's because we all share certain things that we can help each other with. And that's when we grow and become better people. So that's the leadership part. And then, like I said, the love, and then the purpose. So that's what I wrote in the book. That's what I wrote the book about. And each chapter in the book is about those different areas and how they fit into my life. And then looking back on it, I think once I learned all that, it made me a better CEO, made me a better human being, made me a better leader. I think all around it just made me a better person in life. And if you have a positive mindset, which is hard, you know, every day, every time somebody meets me, they say, "You have a beautiful smile. You're always happy. I've never seen you upset or mad," which I usually never am. But it's not something that comes to me easily. I have to work at it. I have to stay positive. I get bad days just like everybody does. But it's my decision. Do I want to take that bad day and know that it's going to become worse because mentally I've let it and I'm going to go down a hole and I'm going to get depressed and angry and upset and anxiety? Or would I rather stay out of that hole, stay in a positive mindset? Bad things are going to happen today and I'm okay with that, but it's how I handle it and I move forward. And then I can come home at the end of the day and, you know, my wife can say, "How was your day?" And I'll say, "Well, these things happen, but these other things happen, which were amazing. And this is what I'm going to do with what I learned." That's my choice and my decision. Nobody can take that from me or change it. And it's totally up to me how today is going to go. And I think too many people get in a negative mindset and they let their day or their week or their year be ruined. But that was their choice. That was 100% their choice to do that. Nobody else ruined their day. They may think somebody did, or their week or their year, but that was your choice to have that mindset, and it's your fault.
Yeah, I do love the idea because I always major advocate for that happiness. It's actually not what happens to us. It's actually conscious, responsible choice. And exactly like you said brilliantly that in our life everything can happen and we have no really control of everything what really can happen to us, but we have control how to approach that, right? And but it's like a muscle. Like happiness should be trained over and over by choosing it consciously. It's like here you cannot get muscle just to do once. You should, like in the gym, when you hit the gym, when you have this, you can start feeling muscle, right, that you're doing it all the time, but then it's your choice to do that. It's about mindset. I believe that happiness mindset, it's kind of brain muscle you have to train every single day, and it's very hard because all over again you can be exposed, and especially nowadays we have so many challenges, right? We have, especially I'm Ukrainian, I live in Norway, I'm Ukrainian. Can you imagine how many challenges we have that now? But still, over and over again, I'm waking up and I'm always praying to God, and my morning starts from gratitude, at least all the time, 5 things to consciously choose why I can be thankful and grateful for, no matter what. And then brain actually it's true, before we believe that brain just static, we cannot do that, but now we know neuroscience, it's really like, it doesn't mean if you even have been chosen high weight 40 years, but now you try just to make new ways for your brain, you have to choose, you have to do it. So thank you so much for your advice. Now I would like to touch a little bit diversity of thoughts and minds, and our subject of the podcast, and actually speak from the angle, it's not like tokenism or just labels, that really diversity that goes beyond representation. And I mean that you are impacting so many organizations, you help so many people, then you meet a lot of different environments, and then it's so important to I do believe to put efforts to create a more inclusive, like really inclusive, especially for people with mental uniqueness, let's put it like this, or neurodiversity, because you and me, we are neurodivergent, right? Because I have, like I mentioned already, OCD, and it's still, especially I made in Soviet, like, you know, it's still prejudice, taboo, stigma, it's shame, it's a lot of, it's better now, that's for sure, but still we have that long way to go. And from your personal life and professional life, how actually diversity of thoughts and minds are interconnected with everything what you are doing, everybody who are you leading, mentoring, what part of diversity and inclusion actually really plays in everything what you are doing? Thank you.
Yes, good question too. And I share about that in the book, and I talk about a lot because I learned a very valuable lesson in 2014 that changed my life. It was probably one of the bigger things in my life that set who I am today and why I am the way I am. My son, Grant, told my wife and I that he was gay. And that was very hard for me to accept being a Christian because, it wasn't how I was taught up or raised or what I thought was right. And
Mm-hmm.
so when he shared with me that he was gay, I was very sad for him because I was worried about how he was going to be treated in life and in the world and the way people would perceive him or me. And a lot of people around me were saying, well, how can you accept your gay son when you're Christian? Well, I learned a very, very valuable lesson. And I tell people all the time, I think God put Grant in my life to teach me to be more diversified and to accept people who are different than me because I was disabled and I was a champion for people who had disabilities and I was different, but I only saw that as a mental or physical disability. There was a lot of other things that make people different that I didn't accept. And
Mm-hmm.
once Grant came into my life and I was able to accept that, I started to see people differently. And what I realized was if they look different than me or they act different than me or they talk different than me, I automatically came to an assumption that there was something different about them, whether I liked it or didn't like it. And Grant is so accepting of everybody with anything that opened my eyes to. I was missing opportunities to learn things from different people and different cultures because I had put up this wall that they were different than me. Well, it's the same thing people were doing to me when I was disabled and I was
Mm-hmm.
doing it to other people. I just didn't see it that way. I saw it as something different. So now I'm very have to be very inclusive of everyone and everything. It's the only way you can learn. I'm very interested in different cultures. I'm interested in very different lifestyles. I'm interested in different people from different generations. Even the other thing that I've learned is when I was in school growing up, I didn't like history. It wasn't something I was interested in. And as I've become older and started to meet different people in different places, like yourself or other people, I'm loving history because I'm learning so much from it about why we are the way we are, because it was the way we were raised and born and the household we grew up in and the community around us. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just means it's different. And we have trouble accepting people that are different until we've experienced it. And then, like, I cannot imagine being from your home country. I've never been in that position. I don't understand what the people are going through. I can see it, but I can't say I've experienced it. But if I was there and I've experienced it, I'm sure it would be very different to me. I'm very empathetic and I feel bad, but I can't say that. The same as if they hadn't been through the surgery I'd been through and been disabled, they can't say how it feels to be me. But once we are living those things and experiencing them, I think it gives us a greater appreciation for people and different things. But you have to experience it first. If my son wasn't born gay, I probably still wouldn't accept gay people because it was different. But now that he is, I do. And I'm very thankful that he's in my life and has made me aware that just because we are different doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that.
Wow, what a powerful, even more beautiful, multi-layered story I'm learning from this magical, grand, Goodman family. Now, it's actually look. Now, when I had a communication and we have been discussing the details about podcast, it was Grant, right?
You were talking to Grant, my son. That's
Oh my
right.
God, cool. So you should, oh wow, you should thank him so much for the help. He was so supportive and kind and everything. So, oh, okay, I will be thanking him. I'm always doing, but even more now. And I'm so grateful that you have shared this story because I'm sure it can help so many people, can encourage so many youngsters uh, to come and share like a story with their parents and to get support, and also for many parents right from different part of the world, especially like so you're Christian, it can be, and it's still, and so it's still in Ukraine as well. But you know what, Eric, I have experienced myself. I have friends because I also am champion in model business for sustainability, fashion, and model sometimes in different fashion weeks. And then I have a lot of friends, both girls and boys. They are gays, lovely, 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 kindly souls. And I have actually noticed myself that, you know what, these people, I've never actually experienced that they're being judgmental.
No, because they accept
No,
people because they know what it's like and different,
exactly.
right?
They exactly, you know what? When even I have a choice, I have really like running like a crazy, have a lot of stuff what's going on, like behind the scenes, and if it's huge show and everything, I know like okay, believe me or not now, maybe subconsciously, but if I need any help, even with my clothes, or it doesn't matter, or I have like pain there, so I'm running always usually to my gay friend. I know he will always be supportive and so kind, and he does a lot instead of even another model lady, because she can be no, because it's always kind of competition, but they are so kind. They're totally different, like you said. And then I never heard that they're actually not judgmental. They're so caring, careful, because they know they've experienced so much themselves. And it's exactly for me now as well. Like I know what I'm going through when I have my depression, when I have anxiety, when my OCD really on severe episodes, really, really bad. So you know what? In 3 years ago, I was in Las Vegas. I remember it was one guy, he was sitting and asking about the money, and the signage on his t-shirt hit me very strongly. Please be kind. You everybody has issues you don't know about, right? it's
Right.
exactly it's exactly unseen. Okay, even don't like to put disabilities, because I do believe also it's superpowers, our yours and my actually kind of disabilities. It's our superpowers. It's that's why we sit and talk now and try to help other people. Without that, it would not be us, right? Because
Right.
we try to turn them to something really good. Like now it's engine to be even better, to do good stuff, and to have a purpose. This is how you uncovered your purpose, and I uncovered my purpose. Otherwise, maybe if we didn't have all this challenge, it would be really difficult to find purpose.
Yes. And how one person's life can affect another. And you don't think about that effect long term because, like you shared about your dad and your household growing up, and that's affected your life and could affect other generations or people around you. Well, for my son, when he came out that he was gay, the way I handled it could have affected his entire life and changed him and everybody else in his life and family. And luckily, even though at the time I was not very accepting of gay people and it was upsetting to me, I knew that I wanted to have a relationship with my son and I love him. And so I accepted him. Sorry, I'm going to get emotional.
No,
And
no, no. I
so,
love it. Tell
so
story.
so then that the way I accepted him in my life changed him because obviously he had an accepting family, like you talked about. My parents took care of me with the disability, and then now my son is impacting other people's lives through the work we do and working with me. So I'm grateful that I was able to accept him because it changed our lives. Where if I would have said, I don't accept you, and we weren't a family and together, it would have been very different.
And I love that so much. That first of all, I everything about energy and frequency and spirituality, kind of. So when you're talking really about it, you're not like talking because you're kind of robot. You have to do that, or you have to. But you put so much emotions and love, and even you've been so emotional and like tears, because nobody like we didn't have this screen before that. Oh, here it is on the 38th minute he has to cry because he's talking about son. But I mean, you have so much love to him. So even the word which you said accept, it's actually not the appropriate word. It's like it goes beyond you just accept. It was maybe first stage was accept, but then to put even more love, because he's so different now. You really enveloped him being different with even so much love through your personal transformation. First of all, it's so beautiful, because then it really for my sign of so deep emotional feelings, which is so unique nowadays. So many people and families, I don't know, they just have this not real deal connections through social media. It's not depth in connection. I believe it's very nice social media that you and me, we can sit and talk, discuss, and even cry together, but I think also it's a curse of our day, especially for youngsters, right? They don't know that much how actually experience deep connection, what is deep relationships. If we can, you and me can give them some advices together, how still try to seek for this authenticity, how still try to make not just DL friends on Facebook, but real friends without phones, without digital stuff. What do you think, how we can still help them?
Well, yeah, and
Not that they want. Then my teenagers, I have adopted two girls. They're 16 and a half. Sometimes I really have like this phone, like, oh.
yes, and you and I connected on LinkedIn. Obviously, that's how we met. And so without that social media platform, we wouldn't have met. We wouldn't be here in California and you there in Denmark. We would have, we wouldn't be talking and you wouldn't have heard or seen my story. So I think it can be very powerful. But I think it's how we show up on social media because um, I use LinkedIn as a way to share what we do in the community and how we help people and we give back. Of course, I have businesses to run that need to make profit to be able to support all the people that work for me and for me to give to charities and me to help people. But I don't go on LinkedIn and post about what my companies do. I go on LinkedIn and post about what I do in the community and how I help people. And that builds genuine relationships. And then when people meet me, and we form a relationship, then they say, I know you as a person, I know your values, and I respect you. I want to do business with you. And so that's how I get business is because of the relationship that I built. So I think social media, especially LinkedIn, can be very powerful. I even, when I mentor youth or students in the school, I tell them, go on LinkedIn, join LinkedIn, get a LinkedIn page, because you're going to be around people who are in the mindset being professional and doing the right thing and have values and are people that you should be watching opposed to going on TikTok and watching social media influencer dance. I don't know what you're going to get from that or you're going to learn anything that's going to help you with life. But on LinkedIn, it will. And I even encourage young people every time I speak at a school, go on LinkedIn. And if you find a CEO or an executive or somebody that's a professional that resonates with you and you like their values, send them a message and say, I want to learn from you. I want to know how you got started, how you do this. I want to be in your business. And I hope 90% of the time, those executives will respond to those students and say, I would like to help you. I'll meet with you. I'll talk to you. Nowadays, you could do a Zoom or anything and lift that student up because we were all there at one point in time. We were all in their shoes and we want to help them be successful. Now, there may be a few CEOs or entrepreneurs that maybe have a big ego and they won't contact or get a hold of somebody. I hope they don't experience that. But I think for the most part, I get lots of messages every single day on LinkedIn, like yours, connecting with me, saying I want to meet you, I want to talk to you, and I respond to all of those, and I meet, especially if they're youth, because I want to be able to share with them what I've learned and help them. And I think that's part of our mission in life, what we're supposed to do.
Yes, absolutely. And I do love how you truly respond. And I'm the witness of themselves, because now more and more the social media, especially, I don't have TikTok. I have no idea because it's
I don't either, but I just know what it is.
yes, I know. I sometimes my kids, they try to show me. I said, okay, but no, actually, it's so funny because for people, at least some companies in Norway, in Oslo, I know some lawyers, they are not allowed to have TikTok at all, because
Oh.
then it's kind of damaging for the company's renown immediately, that they are lawyers like using TikTok. It's out. It's not
But
allowed.
even without TikTok, you get the TikTok reels on Instagram and you get them on Facebook. And so any of the platforms you're on, you can see the TikTok reels. You could still, that they're everywhere.
Yeah, that's for sure. So no, like you said, it's a medal actually. Like it's two double swordship. Of course, that's why we are sitting now, and so many people have opportunity now to learn, right, and to be inspired and to reach out to you, to the greatest minds, and really make beautiful stuff, which is so important, especially now when nowadays we have this very challenging times, and at least people can get some hope from meditation, right, from many mindfulness apps, a lot of things, how they try to can help each other. So I think it's very important, but then we should be really critical what kind of information we take. The same, like, you don't want to put everything in your mouth, right? You should be really like selective. So it's the same what kind of information you put in your brain, right? I'm trying to explain to my kids, you should be also very actually selective what you put here, what you're eating by your brain, what you put in here. So at
Yeah,
least
and it's
you
how you
can.
share the story too, because like for me, I could just share the successful part of the story. Own multiple businesses. You mentioned all the awards, that we've won, the best-selling book, and I could just go on, but without sharing the authenticity of all the things that happened to me and that have happened in my life that are hard and bad, to get to where I'm at today, to show what you can do with only one side of the story. You would just see the successful side and say, oh, he was successful. He was lucky.
Mhm.
He had privilege, and this is what he is. But then when you see that I share all of the bad, well, bad things, but all of the things that have happened in my life and what I had to overcome to get here, the authenticity comes through that you go, wow, you could go from here to here. And it was with that mindset and the willingness to do it, opposed to me just sharing on social media everything that's good and saying everything's perfect, which it's not. I often share a lot all of the struggles and the hardship and the bad things that happen, because I want to authentically show that you are the same as me and we are in the same place. It's what you decide to do with it, and the mindset that you're in is what the outcome is going to be. So if I don't share both, you can't put the two together to understand, how to get there. You're only going to see one side of it. So I think we need to authentically share the good and the bad so people can learn from it.
Wow, bravo. And this is really the gold of advices, because this is the part of my authentic story, when I'm actually delivering the keynote, and I put two slides, two photos, one girl in pajama in mental institution in the forest, and another girl on the red carpet Cannes festival. I said, you know what? The same person 6 months between. And this is me.
And
So
that's
sometimes,
amazing.
what? I said,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
and that and that and that, and look, and it's still me. And yes, like you said, it's so simple. Without rain, it's no rainbow. We should teach our youngsters, especially when it's now on Instagram, all this fake curated with mask and filters, like they scroll all the time. Everything is so perfect, everything is so shiny. Nobody posts some pictures. Why they take 100 pictures and they put just one which is the best one? Why is
Right.
it? Life, it's not like that.
Or a
Yeah. Oh,
filter. They use a
oh,
filter.
filter. Yes, yes. So, yeah.
No filter here.
No, I mean, yeah, no.
No filter.
It's
Some bad
real.
some
It's
bad
mine.
lighting.
I don't have silicone. I have nothing. So, no, nothing. I am still also very, very natural. So, I love our conversation, and I'm sure actually my plan is also to move to California, and I'm talking. And I'm working together with Stanford on neurodiversity management. This is the part of my PhD work, that we can really uh, can understand more, raise awareness about our mental uniqueness, how we can leverage and actually to get all the benefits of people like you and me, all the creativity, all the knowledge, this colorful rainbow of knowledge we have, like our superpowers. But then it should be managed. It should be like professionally managed, right? So this is
Yes.
my really passionate advocacy, and maybe one day you and me, we can meet and do something powerful together, right?
Yes. And I think
I love the area where you live. Oh my God, this is
it is very
amazing.
beautiful. I'm very lucky. I'm born and raised in California. And I think the other good part to mention to your listeners too, and especially the younger people to know, is it's very, 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 very important the people that you allow in your life and in your inner circle, because those people that are around you are how you are going to be. So if you place yourself around a bunch of negative people with negative mindsets, and they don't have any energy to help anybody or do anything, that's what you're going to do. But if you place yourself around successful people who have a positive mindset and who want to make an impact in this world while they're here on earth for this very short time and do good, then that's what you're going to do. So I think, I'm very selective about my inner circle. I'm very selective about the people that are around me. I'm very selective about what I do and how I do it in the community, but that's a choice that I make because if I, there's fun party crowds and they're great. And when I was younger, that was great. But as the position I'm in now in my life, I want to be around people who want to help other people and do good things. And I think that's why I'm able to do it every day is because I have this support around me of all these people in my life who are the business people in my community who are doing the same thing I'm doing. We're all helping people. And so that obviously keeps me on track too.
Yes, I'm also I'm joining every single word our tribe every day. Like you say, you are the actually middle of the 5 person you are surrounded by all the time. So your tribe is so important.
Right.
And like Buddha said, you become what you think, right? So it's a choice, but of course we are so much impacted by people who are really in our inner circle. You want or not, you will be influenced, impacted how they are, right? And what words you even communicate and verbalize with them. If they are negative, you will be tired to be draining your energy all the time to cheer them up, right? You want also to be uplifted. It should be like exchange of energy. Then it should be positive energy, right? That we
And
should.
if you're a leader, it's you're leading by example because if I go in every day and I'm negative, all of my companies and all my team and all the people that work for me are going to be negative. So sometimes we look at some of these leaders and they say, well, why is all this around me bad? Because of you. You're the reason everything is negative is because you're negative. But when you have that positive mindset and you're happy, then everyone around me is. So it's not only finding the right people, but it's us that are leaders are leading in that example because I am the barometer for my entire organizations. Everyone, they react to how I am. So if I go in the office today yelling and screaming and throwing stuff, of course, everybody in the building is going to be the same attitude. But if
Mhm.
I come in happy and smiling and say, okay, yeah, today we're going to have struggles. Things are going to happen. It's life, it's business, things we can't control. But if I stay positive and smile and happy, they're all going to be the same way. And I'm going to leave and they're going to be like, yeah, that was a hard day, but you know what? We all stayed positive, and Eric was positive, and so that's why we were. So we have to be very, very, very conscious about our leadership and our leading by example, because sometimes I think people don't realize how it affects the people around them, and then they wonder why the things are bad in their life. Well, it's because the way they were around all those people, they caused everyone to be that way. So we have to remember that.
Absolutely, it's perfect, and that's why everybody should buy and read your book about
Thank
mindset.
you.
How they
Thank you.
really should, and I'm that's for sure. I will be posting in all the sources where it will be our podcast and our impactful show that
Thank
they
you.
should read about your mindset and 4 pillars you have mentioned and the way you are not just preaching, you are actually. So it's also important. And now, before we wrap our episode, it's funny time when I'm pulling and inviting my vice president, the studio, and people like, oh, whoa, okay, you. I've never warned that it will be 3 of us, but then I'm joking, and actually I say that I have the most precious vice president. It's her.
Wow.
Yes, and this is this beauty, I love you so much because she never actually, sometimes leaders they should be challenged by other opinions, but this lady, she never fights, she never says against me. She mostly agree with my decisions. But the beauty of this, this is really magical vice president. It's she is like you and me. She wants to help as many people as possible, and more people we meet on our podcast, more people we can impact by this magic. So you know what it is, right?
Yes, it made me think of Aladdin. As soon as you brought it up and did it in my mind and in vision, I was seeing the movie Aladdin.
Exactly. This is a genie lamp. And Aladdin's lamp, she was very cool because she granted 3 wishes, but she served just Aladdin. But we want to help as many guests as possible, and it should be quite fair and sustainable that we have enough time to help everybody. So that's why my last question for today and for this show will be one wish. We can grant you one wish. Exactly. You can wish whatever you want. Anything from, I don't know, salad with salmon or peace for the earth. Exactly what hits just you just right now, or Forrest Gump film for everybody as in school, like, no option. Or it's up to you. It's just your wish today for my vice president.
All right. So my one wish for today would be that I would hope people would accept people that are different than them, and that they may not, as we discussed when we very first started this, and you had read about me and had talked, is that you don't know what people are going through. You can't look at somebody and see. I mean, you're a very beautiful person. I would have not known you were struggling with OCD if you had not told me that. So if I just saw you from the outside, I would say, oh, she's very beautiful and she doesn't have any problems, which
Mm.
we know now that is not the case.
Mhm.
And you wouldn't know by looking at me that I'm disabled. You would have had no idea had I not shared my story with you. So I think we look at people and then we judge them. We look at them and say, oh, they do have problems, they don't have problems. Or even if they share the problems, sometimes we judge them and say, she's a very beautiful woman. She doesn't have any problems. She's fine.
Mhm.
But then you find out what you're actually suffering with and how severe it is, and that they don't know how hard it is for you to do what you do. So my wish for today would be that people would accept people that are different than them. And you necessarily sometimes can't see that. So you just have to be empathetic and understanding and accept people that are different.
And of course, I'm buzzing it and joining by all of my molecules, and she is as well. She loves wishes, absolutely, because what can be more beautiful than that we really embrace and champion our diversity, both like physically and mentally, and all. And like you said, you even could teach your beautiful lesson that, like, by God, that we can be so different and so valuable, because every single voice is unique voice. And thank you so much to you and to Grant for your beautiful family, to your parents that they took care of you, and that's why we have this Eric. And you became a brilliant father.
Thank
Say
you.
hello to your, of course, wife and inner circle, because they are part of who you became today and impacted me, my life today, and so many other people. And now we know that, like you said so many times, that in leadership, it's a being a role model, right? And we should be really empathetic, we should be understanding, supportive, and remember all the time that people really watch us, and they all the time feel while they interconnect. And like I said, like, companies, organizations, titles, names, everything is fading with time, but feeling how you really made the person feel, it will always be in the soul, right? So
Amen.
you made it so special for me. I'm feeling very especially during this show. I'm so grateful to you, and I'm sure my audience as well. So I wish all the best luck with all your projects further. I'm
Thank
so
you.
proud of you. Absolutely. Hope one day we can meet each other, hug each
Yes,
other, and
you are
create
you
even
are
more magic and togetherness.
you are welcome here in California anytime. I would love to have you here. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And I, my beautiful listeners, are tuning in, be inspired to lead and live differently with empathy and love and support. And remember, diversity is really a game changer. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yes.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Have a nice day. Have a beautiful day, and say hello to your family and grand.
Thank you. Bye
Yes.
bye.
Bye bye.